Hi, my name is Perry, and I hope that you can join me and my friend Lou for our podcast. It's called Music Relish Podcast. It's a music discussion, appreciation, and commentary podcast. And we called it that because we relish those things. So we hope you can join us. That's Perry and Lou for the Music Relish Podcast. Thank you. Hey, hello out there. The Music Relish Show / Music Relish Podcast with Lou. Hello, Lou.
Hello.
Mark. Hello, Mark.
Hi.
And me, Perry. And this is a 2-year anniversary show. 2 years ago, November 4th or 5th, 2021, we did our first episode. So, hey, guys, cheers.
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 I'm drinking Zima. What are you drinking?
Cornelius.
You know what I'm
Mark,
drinking.
I know you're drinking Australian wine.
Yeah.
I'm drinking an Appalachian Mountain Brewing Longleaf IPA, a locally brewed, or fairly locally brewed beer from North Carolina.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
2 years.
issue number one. You guys
number
heard
one.
the new Beatles song, correct?
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
assume saw the video as well, right?
Yes. Quite a few
All right.
times.
So let's start with you, Lou. What's the sit rep on this Beatles song and video?
Okay. The first time I heard about it, and when I hear AI, I go like, okay, like what's going on with AI, and so I just waited because I don't like reading about it until I hear it, or too much. So
Yeah.
I was driving in my work van, and on NPR they did a snippet of it. Some rock commentator was talking about it, and talking about more about the lyrics and saying there's a certain poignancy to it. I forgot the literary terms he used to describe the lyrical back and forth on it. Oh, it's a very simple song.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a term somewhere. Yeah.
Right. So that's all I heard then. So I watched on YouTube and Spotify, and it's a sad sounding song. Right off the bat, it has a certain melancholy sound to it. Lennon's voice has been AI restored. So actually it sounds more like a modern recording with his voice as opposed to maybe Free as a Bird and Real Love from the anthology sessions from 95. I don't think it's as complete a song in some ways as those two songs. When I heard those, I've heard most of those on the radio. So to me, I thought it was great that they recreated John's stuff. They all played on it. In 95, that George played on it. This one, it's different because although they're all on it, this was not a song I heard that George particularly liked. And you don't really notice him on it instrumentally too much. I've listened to it several times. Paul filled in the slide guitar because George is, obviously couldn't do it.
George thought it was rubbish back in the 90s. Yeah.
Apparently thought it was rubbish back in the 90s. So, but even still, it's got a very full sound. Ringo is the greatest. He'll always be the greatest.
Ringo is Ringo. Yeah.
It's unmistakably
I want to get
Ringo.
one of those shirts, the religious shirts. I wanted to say Ringo 316.
It's
and I'm gonna do it too, by the way.
And well, cool. And I like the Miller High Life T-shirt because High Life was my beer of choice as a young man.
Me
High
too.
Life. It is the champagne of beers.
So the song to you, Lou, is a good song. Or it's a so-so song.
It is a good song. At first, I thought it was slight because whenever I think of a demo, it's like we've all made demos. They're not finished songs. So the fact that they did fill it in, Paul, I think, added some lyrics to it, and Paul's voice is on it, but it's not overpowering. It's not. Like the Lennon McCartney of old. The song's it's not obviously not an Imagine.
Still know those little subtleties. They know. Yeah.
The subtleties. And so having heard the song quite a few times, it's very nice. There's orchestration. I think that's Giles Martin did the orchestrate. When you
did-
see the
I
video,
read that. Yep.
yeah, we haven't talked about the video, but the song itself, I think it's a good song. It's sad. It's very bittersweet. There's a very bittersweet sound to it. If you want to talk about the video, there's a certain
Yeah. Well,
correlation.
let me ask Mark about the song first, okay, and then we'll because they are two separate things. One of them could be so.
Yeah,
the video could be right. So Mark, what's your?
I'll say I'll parry there. I think it is a good song considering it was a demo that they
from where it
really
came from, and I'm sure you've heard where it came from with the boom box on top of the piano, right? And,
sure.
Stick the cassette in there.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Now and Then by
So
Das
I
Beatles?
first heard it last week, like Thursday. I was driving from my office over to the hospital, and it's a 4-minute drive, and I got to hear it. As soon as I left the parking lot, it came on the radio. I really liked it the first time I heard it. It's very dramatic. The strings are well done. I didn't know it was Giles that did all that. I'm glad to hear that. From the first take, I liked it. It didn't have to grow on me. It does sound very produced, but they are taking a demo that sounded like crap, and they had to overdub. Now you guys know I'm very against AI. I argue there's no good use of AI. I think
there is good use for AI. This is one of the good ones.
This single has proven to me there's good uses because if you compare it to the songs that were on the anthologies, like the first single,
Free as a Bird. Yep.
You could hear Lennon's vocals were scratchy on that because it was a demo.
Yep.
This one, he sound like you said, Lou, his voice sounds great. So that's a good use of AI, just in the right hands. Because if anyone's going to use AI with the Beatles besides Paul, it's got to be Giles, right?
Yeah.
But I'm a fan of it. Deep, sad, and beautiful at the same time.
Yeah.
I could listen to this over and over again. I won't pay $18 for the single, but I could listen to it over and over and over again.
Yep.
Very good. Very good strings. Love it.
Yeah. Now I thought, of course, like Lou said, it's in a minor key, and now, and it's a John Lennon thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But upon hearing the full version, with the orchestrated version and everything, and the beat, it's fantastic. I think it's fantastic. It's like, I don't know what to say other than it's just fantastic.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know,
Giles
I know.
Martin is like, he's his dad incarnated, or
Yeah.
it's true.
Why wasn't this song? Well, I guess he wrote it in '78. It could have been on Double Fantasy, and why wasn't it?
That's a good point. You could have heard that on there. Yeah.
And the lyric parts, repeat. It's all because of you. It's a nice melody too, but it is very melancholy. It's I'm calling it bittersweet. There's just something.
Yeah.
But
I've read that the lyrics he wrote them. It was kind of like after he came back to Yoko. That's when the lyrics come from. So it's almost like a love song to Yoko, which most of his music in the 70s was, and after a certain time.
But I find it interesting that the AI technology from Peter Jackson that he used for, that I don't know if his company created it or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. They separated. So in other words, you just had that one cassette of John singing and playing piano. It separated it into 2 tracks. It's amazing how that happens. Yeah. It's amazing, that technology. And that's good. That's good AI.
Yeah, and the AI voice restoration, because I went back and listened to Free as a Bird and Real Love.
Yeah.
And, they sound better than I thought they did. I'm hearing them on a better system, on car radio when I first heard them. I'm like, that's a cassette tape that, he put. I'm glad it didn't have a rhythm box on it,
Yeah. But back then, I don't think Jeff Lynne didn't have the AI technology that they have now.
They did the best they could. The only thing really missing on Now and Then is really George's guitar presence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard he's strumming an acoustic on there that he originally did back in the 90s, right?
There's probably some rhythm tracks. That's 95, so there's some rhythm tracks on there.
But I
Go ahead,
Paul
Paul is no George Harrison on slide guitar. I will tell you.
But I did.
Nobody
I
else
heard.
was.
That he played some slide near, like in a George sort of fashion, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bottom line with the vocals, I always say, is it Free as a Bird? John Lennon's voice sounded just like a voice on a cassette. It had that cassette sound. They never altered. It's professional.
Well, a lot of things I've read.
Charming. It had its extreme charm. They were the friggin' Beatles,
But who knows? Maybe the remixes of those with the new technology will end up on the Red and Blue album. Ooh,
right.
Who knows? Right? Which are coming out next week.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
November. I just got the
Red, white,
date
blue.
here. According to Amazon, it's coming out November 14th.
Yeah.
So
So, Lou, let me ask you about the video now. Now, that's another thing is the video for this
Mhm.
song Now and Then.
Yeah.
What did you think of that? So, considering we all saw it,
Yeah. I think Peter Jackson might have directed the video. Maybe
Mark said that he did.
he
Mark
did.
was,
Okay.
yeah.
yeah.
Now
Yeah.
I think the production on this was. It's funny we were talking about it, but maybe we didn't delve into the right corners. It is co-produced by Jeff Lynne, I believe.
The record?
The song.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. Cool.
I think
Yeah.
even anyway. So on the video, it's interesting because there's modern day Paul and Ringo playing
Yeah.
along to the tracks, and at points they're superimposing images of George
Yeah.
and John from like the Sgt. Pepper days and Paul.
Yep.
Some of the technology, it's a little weird at times. Some of the juxtapositions, while I appreciated it,
Yeah.
and I do think they were reverential and respectful, and obviously more than loving. They were just a little technology wise, they were a little jarring, like seeing George in his Sgt. Pepper outfit alongside Paul as an 82
Yeah,
or
yeah.
81-year-old man.
Right.
It just seemed like, but it was interesting and stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Because
yeah.
somebody had to make that choice, though. It could
Right.
have been George in jeans, but they chose the Sgt. Pepper thing.
Well, yeah,
right?
and there's
Yeah.
also John. So they're using imagery of John, I think, from like Magical Mystery Tour, and
Mhm.
it's regenerated in such where it looks like the orchestra is looking at a projection of John acting up, doing his cutting up John bit, for like
Yeah,
inspiration or sorts, if that's how they did it. There are times when it looks like there's shots of Paul at the console where he looks sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Reminiscing sometimes
it's very
makes people
emotional.
sad. Yeah.
Right, and because Paul's a very, he's known as the happy-go-lucky Beatle, and he's
Yeah.
he's a very upbeat guy by nature. I looked at Ringo when he was playing drums, and I said he looks sad too. But I went back and looked at Free as a Bird and
Yeah.
Real Lovin'. Sometimes Ringo looked like that, and also it's reverential because
Yeah.
the recording tracks of there at that time when John was murdered.
Yeah.
Their,
Yep.
their fallen leader.
Yeah. It's
but-
haunting too, in a sense,
It's
right?
very haunting,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
some of the, and it's funny because the best part, and I think this is the best part, is Ringo and Paul standing side by side singing on the chorus.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And
you
it sounds
can
like
hear Ringo in there.
it sounds like John Lennon's in the room, though.
Yeah, yes, it does.
It's
So yeah,
so strange.
I think it's a success. My employer, my friend John,
Mhm.
he goes, "Did you hear the new Beatles song?" And I told him, I said, "I heard a snippet on NPR." He goes, "I heard a great deal of it on the local radio station here in Asheville."
Yep.
And he goes, "Sounds good." So yeah, it sounds good. And I was on YouTube and I saw it looked like a video of a kid. I would say a kid, a younger person saying how the Beatles basically massacred it. I'm like, I'm not going to listen to it. Everyone's
Yeah.
entitled to their opinion. I don't want to sound like an old person saying you don't get it, but yeah. So the thing is, I think they did a great job. The thing that makes me a little sad is that the ending of it, and our friend from Tennessee, Sot Mitter, said the very ending of it, it's almost something too final. Even though the Beatles broke up in '69,
Yeah.
there's something about that bow at the ending of it when
They did say it was their absolute last single, their last
single.
Beatles song. So
Yeah, so I guess that was obviously it was deliberate, but at the same time,
Yep.
like I would love to. There's nothing else out there. Yoko has nothing else, or
there'll
nobody
be
has.
some. I think
I
there'll
don't
be
know.
some.
Yeah.
Because AI is
do.
improving every day, so something's going to happen.
Yeah.
So Mark,
So-
what are your views on that video? The
Right,
Now
so I
and
just
Then
saw
video.
it right before the show. I watched
Mhm.
it, and at first I said, "This is corny." I didn't like it. I went, "Ugh." But then
Yeah.
when
It
I
was
saw
weird. The first one was
Paul's-
weird.
yeah, I thought it was kind of shuckster type of deal. Like, oh, look what they're doing. But then I saw Paul sitting behind the console, like you just said, and it's like I think it is Paul seeing not ghosts. I don't want to say ghosts, but he's seeing the band. And
Yeah.
that one scene where you see the strings playing and you see John up in the control room, they did a good job on that part of the video. And you see him up there just pointing around like he's there.
Yep.
I think it's really all supposed to be from Paul's point of view. He's seeing his old friends, again.
Mhm.
But yeah, the finality of the final scene is sad.
Mhm.
I don't know if we'll get another video like that, but I'm sure there's going to be something coming out. It's just if Paul's not around, we need Paul's input. If it's just going to be Kyle's doing it, it'll be a different kind of thing.
Yeah.
So hurry up if Yoko, if you have anything else, get it.
Well,
Paul.
the remix of the Red and Blues are coming out from Giles Martin next week, right? And I thought the video was fantastic. I thought it's the same. It's the same AI technology that took George out of the Magical Mystery Tour, or rather the the Sgt. Pepper thing,
Sgt. Pepper,
and removed it. And it's like, so it's this is good technology in the sense that the videos look really cool. Like, remember when MTV first came out?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's pretty weird stuff.
The sharpness of George in his Sgt. Pepper outfit, and even there was a couple older things. The clarity of the video, just like what Peter Jackson did with the document, is amazing. Just amazing.
But it's the same technology that isolated John and isolated George, and smiling at each other and waving, or whatever, and nodding.
There's a scene where it's Paul and George, where Paul's doing something, and if you look at next time you look at it, George is going almost like shaking his head, like there were scenes where they irritated. Paul irritated George,
Right.
I've read something about Ringo today where during the making of the White Album, it was I guess back in the USSR, where Ringo walked out because Paul wanted something on the drums, and Ringo just walked out, and Ringo goes, Paul is the greatest bass player in the world. He goes, but he's very insistent on what he wants. It's like,
I mean, we've read those books, right? And
but if you see something else from the Peter Jackson documentary, that if not for Paul, they would not have gotten anything done. So,
that's true.
Yeah. So,
well, but I thought the video was fantastic. That's just.
I know the second time I watch it, I'm gonna be like, I love it. It was just that initial. I was like, oh.
Yeah, me too, Mark. I've seen it about 5 times now. The first time where I was trying to digest the song and the video at the same time, and I was like, the imagery at first was like, ooh, it's not like Hank Williams and Hank Jr. or Natalie Cole and her father and Nat King Cole.
Yeah.
But the Beatles are the sacred cow of our generation.
Yep.
Jones.
Yeah. I hope, like I said, as AI, and this is what scares me down the road, when Paul's gone and Ringo's gone, I hope that the AI doesn't ruin the Beatles. So
no, because their likenesses and everything about them will be copyrighted, so you cannot you won't be able to reproduce, and there'll be lawsuits if people think they're going to get away with that.
And if not for AI voice restoration, the whole Peter Jackson Get Back documentary, we would not have known what they were talking about, because it's hard to, the dialogue even with this is, even on a good television stuff, it's kind of hard.
Yeah. I mean, I told you one time back in the 1980s, I was at some Beatle fest at some hotel in Secaucus or something, and in one theater they had raw footage of the Let It Be things, the Let It Be session.
Wow.
There was just so much going on. You could not decipher what people were saying. There's all just goofing around and people milling about. And so the Peter Jackson stuff, it isolated voices. It recognized John's voice separate from Paul, and that's a good use of AI, if you ask me. Yeah.
And when they had the microphones in the break room, that didn't get picked up on the original. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Produced by Richard Nixon.
Would you
want to know what Liam Gallagher said about the song?
Yeah. Well, how does Liam or Noel?
Liam.
What does Liam Gallagher think about him?
Now and Then is absolutely incredible, biblical, celestial, heartbreaking, and heartwarming all at the same time. Long live the Beatles. Added, very sad but beautiful at the same time. This is life, I guess. It's confusingly delightful at the same time. Then someone said on his Twitter that they thought he might hate it. And he responded, the Beatles could shit in my handbag. I'd still hide my polo mints in there. He had to finish it with that statement, but he loves it too. I mean, yeah.
Well, since it's a 2-year anniversary show, right, Lou, Mark?
Mm-hmm.
I have a short clip of the very, very first show.
You've been hanging with Peter Jackson again, Perry?
Well, no, this is not. No, I don't have that computer program to clean all of it up, like, you know. But you can buy that, by the way, too. You know, you can buy that, because I saw that. I don't even want to mention his name, but anyway, let's take a listen to this. Okay, here we go. Lou, are you there, Lou?
I'm there, Perry. Can you hear me?
Damn, we're on the air right now, man.
Okay. Can you hear me? You can hear me in the phone?
I hear you loud and clear, my friend.
Okay, I can hear you, so we can't hear each other, though. We're just room level.
All right, that's cool.
So if I'm yelling, just let me know, all right?
Okay. All right.
Okay, cool. Let's do it.
All right, so this is the first episode of the Music Relish podcast, and my name is Perry, and my friend on the other end is Lou, and we are songwriters, musicians. You're my friend. Good friends, right?
Yep. We live in two separate states. I'm in North Carolina.
Right, and I'm in an undisclosed location somewhere in the USA.
What exit?
168.
Fuck you. That's what exit I'm from.
All right, Lou. So let's talk about. You want to talk about music when we were little kids?
Yeah, we were talking earlier in the formulation of this. We're discussing, like, you know, what our first memories of music. You know, all of us as people. You know, the first time you hear something, you could be any age, but this probably happens when you're young, when you start getting a consciousness. Whenever kids remember memories. All right.
Yes.
So I'm thinking about the age 5. That's 1966 for me. So I just remember, like, certain songs, and they were the AM radio hits of the day. All radio was AM.
AM radio,
for the most part.
Absolutely. Yep.
So if you're of a certain age, you could probably relate to this. If you're not of a certain age, you might be able to relate to it too, if you like a little music history. So yeah, man, what do you think?
Well, I think, you know, I loved listening to the radio when I was a kid, and, you know, this AM radio, of course, that's what it was back then, you know, and there were certain songs that just you couldn't get away from. They just grabbed you, you know?
Yeah.
And, hey, Lou, you know, like, like, hey, you know, like, we did a show way back then 2 years ago, you know?
We did a show, you know?
And, you know?
It's not like Marty Scorsese.
You know, that was November 4th, 2021.
Well, we all agree that Lou had like 100% even more energy on the phones, right?
Leaping out of my skin.
Before I hit record, he's like, "Hey there, hi there, hold there, hey, Perry, we doing the show, we doing the show."
I'm like Mickey Rooney. Let's put on a show, kids. Hey.
Yes, man. Time before the phone melted your ear.
That's right. I'm an excitable boy.
You know what I saw the other day? I saw this short documentary about less than an hour on Brian Wilson and this album he had called Imagination.
Shit.
Have you ever heard of it? He did it in the 90s. And it was documentary, so there was some live performing. Timothy B. Schmidt was one of the singers. Christopher Cross was another one there.
Wow.
And Bruce Johnston, the guy who replaced him in the Beach Boys, was there. And it was really good.
Wow.
And but Timmy Schmidt was doing the high harmonies. I don't know if he was doing Brian's old part or Carl's old part.
Yeah.
After the Eagles, he did a lot of stuff. He sang on Twisted Sister records.
Yeah, a lot of metal.
Oh, that's right. This was in the 90s, so the Eagles were no more, right?
That's right.
Yep. He did more than a few power ballads, uncredited, quite a few.
You know, but before we continue, I noticed on that clip, it's kind of funny because it had to be, you know, we did like 4 episodes before Mark came on, but your intro shows, it says, you know, Lou and Perry. Mark's not even on there. So Mark, you've been there since the beginning, Mark.
Yeah, well, we had that covered. Yeah, Mark was there like episode 6,
something like that.
You know, and then pretty
after
much
he filled in for me, and I was like,
right. And after
he's after my job.
After he filled in for you, it's like, yep, here we go. It's he's in.
Like,
you know,
I was like, am I still in the podcast, Perry? Am I still there as Mark replaced me?
I can still hear you.
No.
Yeah, that's right.
Back then, I'm like, are you replacing? I'm being replaced.
You were without Wi-Fi for a month, possibly, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, Lou, Since I came aboard, have you been in contact with John Rutsey?
I don't get these fucking Rush connections. I don't get it, man. What does that mean?
Mount Rushmore.
The new guy. I'm the new guy.
That's right. You were like Neil
Yeah,
Peart.
my first show with you guys, I was a guest. We did the Prague show. And I remember Perry going, we're going to talk Prague. You got to come on the show.
Yeah. and by the way, during that Brian Wilson thing, he did a Jimmy Buffett song. He co-wrote a song with Jimmy Buffett.
Really?
And they played it, and it sounds like a Jimmy Buffett song with like a childish melody, like a, a really
give Jimmy Buffett a break. Come on.
I mean, I'm not talking ill of the dead. I'm just talking in general.
I wasn't saying you were talking ill of the dead.
Silly melodies.
Silly love songs.
Because it had steel drums on it.
No, this was a Beach Boys. This was a Brian Wilson song.
Okay.
No,
I'm going to eat my vegetables. I'm going to eat my.
Oh, by the way, did you? I heard a song by Charles Manson called "Garbage Dump." Did you hear it? It's like a country song. I think he does.
I listened to that. I told you. I said after like 60 seconds, it devolves into madness and insanity. Yes.
And the funniest
thing was,
this is pretty
good. He's out of his fucking mind.
But the funniest thing was, you read some of the comments, and they go,
I didn't.
I love his early stuff.
There's sometimes the comments on YouTube
said,
are
I love
true
his
comedy.
early stuff, when he was doing Mersey music.
Yeah, exactly. His skiffle period.
One of the comments actually said, I love his early stuff.
Oh, Lord.
Do you remember there was some band that did a Nirvana cover? I forgot the name of the band. Louis keeps telling me. And the guy, he just, whatever, he cannot sing this song, but he does the whole damn song. And listen to it, I'm like, it's horrible. The comments are, it's like, it was written by comedy writers. I mean, you would think it would have been.
My favorite comment? You know, my favorite comment on I played the CD till it wore out and bought another. You can't wear out a CD, buddy.
So you know what else you have from the archives? We have a lot
if Charlie got a record contract, would Helter Skelter not have happened? Would the hippie movement gone on?
Terry Melcher wouldn't mind have given him one.
Yeah, right? I don't think it would have happened. He would have been happy.
Well, if I was Lou Adler and he came into me with like Garbage Dump, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. Get this guy out of the studio.
I love his early stuff.
Hey, I love his demos.
That's truly funny. That's witty.
That's a good song, but have you ever heard his demos? His demos are great.
Yeah, that was great. Well, we could talk about Bobby Beausoleil doing the, Lucifer Rising?
Yeah,
Jimmy Page contributed to, but
I didn't know Bobby Beausoleil did that.
Remember that last week? Somebody mentioned that, right?
Yeah, well, that was the Halloween. That was the dark Halloween episode. Mark really liked that one, by the way.
My favorite episode.
That's one of your favorite episodes.
Oh yeah.
But if you go on YouTube and listen to Bobby Beausoleil's like solo stuff. It's like it's bad. It is just bad.
Well, there's oddly enough. Well, we did remember we did a promo, Lou, in the beginning. Like, hi, I hope you can join me and my friend Lou.
It's more, huh?
There's a promo that was never used.
Good.
We have a couple of promos that were never used.
Wow.
They were recorded but never actually used. Let's see if we can listen to one.
Hi, my name is Perry, and this is Music Relish Podcast. And I hope that you can join myself, Lou, and Mark for our relaxing music discussion podcast. We have a lot of good subjects. We're all pretty cool guys, pretty relaxed guys. Yeah. So we hope you can join us. Music Relish Podcast with Perry, Lou, and Mark.
It's wonderful.
Bless you. Hope we see you there.
Got your flying saucer docked out in space, Perry, there?
Bless you, Lou.
When do we drink the Kool-Aid?
I already did. 2 years ago.
Okay, Jim.
I'm glad you saved that stuff.
I did.
That's almost like
There's more. Yeah.
you have another one?
I have another one, but I have another one that was used too. But I came across this, Lou. I came across a drum set and had your badge on it. Check this out.
Fucking A, man.
LC.
Yeah, man. I like that.
That's your kit.
Perry, ironically, and you don't know this because you don't have Facebook, I have a cartoon drum kit like that, and it has LC, and that is my background on my Facebook page now.
That's the badge. That's called a drum badge.
My kit's it's a blue silhouette of a drum kit, but on the bass drum it's got the initials LC. That's the background behind my profile picture. So that's the Zeitgeist. Zeitgeist.
Well, I was doing
Forza del Destino.
I was reading about drums last week, and
Really?
I was looking at Karen Carpenter, and and they were playing. The drums are called Vistalite. They're from Ludwig.
Ludwig Vista. They're clear acrylic drums. Yeah, yes.
And apparently,
Bonzo played them.
Apparently, a lot of people had a kit.
Yes.
Let me see if I can get a picture of Vistalite drums.
There you go.
They're plexiglass or whatever they are. Acrylic. They're acrylic.
Acrylac.
Yeah.
Now, Lou, did that give Bonham a unique sound?
I don't know because I've seen drummers play them throughout the 70s. Albert Bouchard, I believe, on the Spectres tour. Albert Bouchard of Blue Oyster Cult. Wait, Blue Oyster Cult.
Yep.
He played a kit on the Spectres tour in 78, 79, I believe.
But Vistalite is the Ludwig brand of acrylic drums. I'm sure other makers have.
They do. But when you saw those kits on the 70s, that was Ludwig, and that was the Vistalite. Yep. Well, look at the dual color.
This is, you know what this one's called?
That's called. Wait, don't tell me. That's called Tiki Bar.
Mark, you want to have a guess what this set is called?
Jamaica.
No, it's called what's that Eagles song? Tequila Sunrise. It's called Tequila Sunrise.
Yeah. Listen to me.
I was thinking umbrella drinks. Well, what I said Tiki Bar, right?
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing, but
kind of close.
Yeah, yep.
Nice.
But apparently, John Bonham of Led Zeppelin,
Bonham,
Jay Osmond of the Osmonds, Billy Cobham,
Cobham.
All right, goofball.
Danny Roberts. Scott Schaefer.
Danny Roberts of River City. Okay, River City for you people.
Scott Schaefer of Snow White played acrylic sets in the 1970s.
They didn't mention Albert Bouchard. That is an infamia.
Well, I don't know about that. Maybe he's on the next one.
Revenge.
Singer, go ahead. Somebody read that? Go ahead.
Singer drummer Karen Carpenter was fond of Vistalites and can be seen playing them on her 70s TV shows. Keith Moon of The Who, Nick Mason of Pink Floyd, Ron Bushy of Iron Butterfly, Barrymore Barlow of Jethro Tull. Barrymore Barlow is a fantastic drummer.
And he also played on Yngwie Malmsteen's first album.
But I think you say if they had Vistalite, they had 10 drum sets. So,
yeah, sure.
Ludwig probably gave them a set of Vistalites just to have a picture taken with them.
I'm sure Ringo has a set and he's like, I'm not going to fucking play these. They're
John Bonham
drum kits. You can see
Bonham played his tour, the whole tour. He played them regularly, right?
Yeah, I don't know which tour it was, but I've seen the live pictures of him playing those.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were like. It was advantageous. I would think they were very like plexiglass. You think of glass, like if you have a glass room you're recording in, it's very reflective. So I think they'd be very bright.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Or maybe because of the head tunings, they were very muffled. The 70s were known more for like muffled drum kits. A lot of things. Now the reason for taking the bottom heads off and calling them concert toms, they were easier to mic. You could stick a mic right into the shell of the drum, but a drum is a resonant instrument, so to have unless it's certain drums have one head on them, like concert toms, like Neil.
For me, looking at this and finding films of people playing Vistalite drums, they didn't sound that good to me. The acrylic drums,
really? Okay.
There's something about the wood, the resonance of the wooden.
Yeah, I would, and also the fact that when you have a wood kit, I mean, think about it. How many levels of acrylic are there? Where you can have a maple drum kit. My slingerlands are maple. Sonor did things that made of African bubinga wood. There's birch, oak. Every wood has a different sound to it, just like a guitar, right? Spruce top, mahogany top, etc.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
cedar.
You know what I've got? You want to hear an old archive discussion on bubblegum music? Because we've been saying we're going to do the Great American Bubblegum Show, right?
My favorite shows.
Maybe on maybe on Spotify or something. Here's an archive thing of
a discussion on. Well, there's two discussions on bubblegum. Let's just take this one first.
The music or the candy?
Okay.
Bubblegum pop. You know,
Fleer or Bazooka Joe?
well, the 1910 Fruit Gum Company.
All right, good setup. Yummy, yummy, yummy.
Well, that's one of my
Right.
faves, man. Is
Right.
I have that somewhere in here, and I love listening to it on headphones. It's the Ohio. They're called the Ohio Express. Yeah, and it was yummy, yummy.
Now, I think the Cars ripped that off with I don't mind you coming here. I think there's some similarities.
Well, my
the state of Rick Ocasek is going to get sued.
but that was to me, that's a great rock song. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Man.
It's all arrangement. It's arrangement. And it seemed,
Yeah.
even when we were kids, it seemed kind of goofy, but it was catchy. It was catchy. And
But when I listen to it with headphones, it's like, it's pretty rocking,
Yeah, sure,
Wow,
sure. Sugar. Otis Redding covered that.
Wait a minute. You're telling me Otis Redding covered
No,
the RT
wait
Sugar?
No, I might be wrong about that.
Okay.
He told me.
Now, how about this? Tommy
Wilson
Rowe.
Pickett.
Dizzy, my head is spinning. Like,
Oh, right.
is that bubblegum? Like, it's just a pop hit, right?
Yeah. I don't know if that falls because he had more. He was his own thing too.
Yeah.
Well, that was bubblegum number 1.
That's the first show I heard from you guys. That was because Perry goes, "Yeah, we got this show," and I listened to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I like how you defined, because I totally agree with you. What is a bubblegum hit? You could have this wacky pop song, doesn't mean you're bubblegum.
Right,
The difference. And I like how you did the boundaries.
Well, there might be another one connected to it. Hang on. Let's see.
But actually, but that's Hal Blaine on the drums in that too.
Wait a minute. That's Hal Blaine on drums on Tommy Rowe's Dizzy?
Yes, it is. Yep. I don't know if that's the whole Rat Pack, but that is him on drums. When you listen to it, you can tell a lot of tom rolls.
Well, not the Rat Pack. You mean the what are they called? The Wrecking Crew.
Yeah.
The Wrecking Crew.
The Rat Pack.
well, because they all played on that Sinatra smash hit.
I was wrong about
Strangers in the Night, right?
Oh my God. This is correct. It was Wilson Pickett did Sugar.
Wilson Pickett covered Sugar. That is amazing, man. I gotta find that somewhere.
It's very different. But now also the bubblegum guys, I don't know who their name was. There was like almost like the Grassroots where these guys they were made up bands basically. Even kind of like the Monkees.
Yeah. So who are they? The Grassroots? Were they?
They're not bubblegum. I think the Grassroots were what they call brass rock, like them Chicago.
Oh yeah, because they had a lot of horns in the production and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how about the 1910 Fruit Gum Company? 1, 2, 3, red light, and Simple Simon Says.
Simple. All right, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, they were harmless little ear candy. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's also Scooby Doo.
Yeah. What about Bobby Sherman?
He falls under Teen Idol, if you ask me.
Really?
Yeah.
My sister loved Bobby Sherman. She had a Bobby Sherman choker. She had a Bobby Sherman choker.
Wow.
And he had Julie. Like, he had some big hits, man.
Yeah, and he also was on that TV show, like 7 Brides for 7.
7 brides for 7 maids, or 7 brides for 7 brothers. And Lou,
Hey, Perry, my sister liked Bobby Sherman too. I've got her 45 of Easy Come, Easy Go. Remember that song?
I'm taking it slow.
Yeah,
out of the sun.
Yeah, yep.
It comes in a picture sleeve too.
I have I have Bobby Goldberg's Honey.
And
Kissed on
honey,
the
I
lips.
miss you. Yeah, he used to do a frog thing on his TV show. He had a summer replacement show, and he would impersonate a frog because he does that warbling thing with his voice. Yeah.
Wow.
Honey, I miss you.
Yo.
Yep.
Not like what's his name on the Mighty Wind? Well. There's.
And if you listen to folk music, and I have, or seen footage of folk, like he's really doing like one of those Peter, Paul, and Mary guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's doing Peter or Paul, but he's doing one of them. Yeah.
I mean, guys, don't you love their cover of "Start Me Up"? You make a dead man come. You make a dead man come.
That's when they're on Letterman or something.
Yeah.
Oh man. Right back at you.
I have. You want to hear an unused promo again? Another unused Music Relish promo.
I've noticed though we have gotten our pacing down a lot better because we had many a board meeting over the fact that we're like all over each other trying to talk, and we're just like,
what do you mean? Hello.
You're there,
right,
and
me
throwing around. Oh, I'm here, my friend.
You know what? Since
we're live.
Ever since we did the phones, I can't talk to anybody on a phone. It's like PTSD. I can't. I'm like, afraid I'm stepping on them. Lou's gonna kill me. Oh wait, Lou's not on this call.
Could you turn it down, please?
Excuse me. I'm here. Well, let's listen to this never used promo also. Okay?
Right. On our second anniversary show.
Hey, man. This is Music Relish Podcast. My name is Perry. And we hope you can join Louie and Marky for Music Relish Podcast. It'll be a gas, man. We talk about music. You got it? Okay, cool. So that's Perry, Louie, and Marky for Music Relish Podcast. See you around.
I think I'm going to put that on the list when the show goes up. It'll be Louie and Marky. Everybody will have a Y or something at the end of the name.
Perry Cherry.
That was terribly greasy. They're very unctuous. I know. I can see you as a sleazy club guy, Perry.
Jack Ruby did that one.
You're like some original DJ from the early '80s.
Boss man.
You smarmy son of a.
Well, let me see what else I have here on my list. Oh, by the way, did you hear? And I did hear. I did listen a few times of Robert Plant singing "Stairway to Heaven" the first time in 16 years. Did you happen to hear it or see it?
No.
Yeah, he's it's on YouTube. Plant sings "Stairway to Heaven" first time in 16 years, and it was what I don't know who the band he was playing with or the band he was stepped up to guest with. I think it was a charitable event, which would make sense for for Robert Plant to sing "Stairway."
Right.
Sure.
Wow.
But he did it, and it was a different approach. It wasn't like, do, 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 do. It was different. The rhythmic approach was a little different to it.
Well, that's how he's been doing all of Zeppelin and the solo career. He's rearranging the songs, which I like, to match his voice, which I really, really keeps it fresh.
Did he sing the lyrics to Gilligan's Island to it?
No, he sang his lyrics that he wrote. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
What the hell did that come from?
You know that story, right?
No.
There's a band that does "Stairway to Heaven," and they sing the lyrics to Gilligan's Island.
I gotta hear that.
Really?
Yes.
You're not joking.
I can't even sing it. I can't get
I
the
am not
melody
joking.
Gilligan.
Just step right back. Step right back. He would tell of the faithful.
I'm a little pissed off at my phone, and I'll tell you why.
Throw it against the wall. Step on it.
No, it creates these memories for me.
Oh yeah.
It takes photos from my photo album and puts music to it. It's like that's the AI I don't like.
Yep.
Don't create goddamn memories for me. I'll create my own
corners
memories.
of your mind.
What if you had a really bad day and you took a photo of something and it's going to remind you of the bad day,
No, but it doesn't know. The AI, the bad AI, doesn't know, if you have a picture of my girlfriend, then a picture of a cat, and then a picture of my niece, none of it makes sense. Like in a slideshow, it doesn't make sense.
It's from your camera roll. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the AI that scares me, is that AI is going into your phone, your personal pictures, and giving it back to you.
Yeah. Go ahead, Lou.
We never talked about "Love Me Do."
Oh yeah.
Oh, we can talk about "Love Me Do." Sure.
The remix.
"Love Me
I'm
Do"
turning my
is
pen into
the
rubber.
I would like to hear Lou's opinion on that
I'm the
remix.
vulcanizer.
I'm a little dizzy.
Okay, you're now under my
Yeah,
control.
so I'll let you guys go because I have to confess, I can't lie. I did not hear "Love Me Do."
Okay.
So what is the "Love Me Do" on the flip side of the single of the new song Now and Then?
Yes, I would like to preface that when I hear "Love Me Do" on the radio in my car, I sing a third part harmony. They should have done it. George should have sung on "Love Me Do." Why didn't George sing on "Love Me Do"?
Because he was 17.
No, he could have done it.
I know.
John and Paul, even throughout until the end of the Beatles, George and Ringo were sidemen.
I know it's true.
Yep. Yeah, isn't that great? So now that song "Now and Then" is in our heads, not to be confused by your song "Perry Now and Then."
Oh yeah, the one I wrote with Submitter Singh.
That's right.
Our friend in Tennessee. Yep.
And I'm a fan of the man from Tennessee. Yeah, it's funny because when I mentioned that the end of the Beatle video for Now and Then, it seems too final. He said the same thing. That I said it what Submitter said because he goes, I think he found it kind of compelling. He likes the early Freezer Bird and Real Love versions. Yeah. He likes those as recordings better than Now and Then. But he said, he goes, it almost looked too final. But like you said, that's supposed to be the last Beatles single.
Yeah, that's it. The word is that's the last Beatles song. Yep.
Probably of Paul's life, I just think when Paul's gone, there'll be something else.
Well, if you guys don't mind.
Mark, what do you mean by something else as far as... Like,
Yoko's obviously got a lot of
standing.
Mark seems to think there's going to be more tapes coming down the pike.
Yeah. AI is going to get ungodly good, and I think we're going to see a lot of stuff come out. I think Giles is going to be that gatekeeper for years.
Okay. No, there's got to be archives of unfinished Beatle tracks.
Exactly.
Like you said, that I guess Paul has those. He probably doesn't, he's never spoken about them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like on the anthology, I love that alternate version of Desmond Has a Barrel in the Market. I love that alternate version.
Me too.
Yeah.
I like it better. I like it better than the album version. Yeah.
It had very little orchestration in the back. I don't know what that was, a saxophone or a clarinet or something back there, right?
I think there were still drums. I think there was Jimmy Buffett on it. There was a young Jimmy Buffett.
It was Lennon and George. It was John and George on percussion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Bernard Purdy. Come on, Lou.
So how about we go into random relish? You haven't guys have any random stories?
Can I just interject one thing? So, Lou, what did you think of the remix of "Love Me Do"?
Oh yeah, we never talked about it.
Sidetrack.
I got you, buddy. I got you.
It's the Music Relish ADHD podcast.
Bubblegum.
Right. I've had laundry in my washing machine for 6 weeks now. Mold and mildew.
So is it Ringo? Is it Ringo?
I'd like to hear what you thought of it.
I'd like to think, first off, the best, in my opinion, the best version of "Love Me Do" ever is the one with Pete Best on it. All right, it's world down. I'm sorry. It's the best thing ever. You know why? Because we got shut down because of that. YouTube shut us down for exposing the truth about Pete Best.
Yes.
Yes, it was on this show. This show, people.
Pete Best. Yeah.
This show.
Yeah. He does still to this day. He doesn't know why he got fired.
No. Now I've heard people say it wasn't that he wasn't a bad drummer. He was just a bad Beatle. No, he was a bad drummer back then. Thank you.
Okay, so "Love Me Do" remix.
Yes.
What was your reaction?
Now, Mark, the first time I heard it, I'm like, what's different? And I noticed hand claps. Maybe hand claps are mixed more up. And then I listened to it again. I'm like, I still think George should have sung a third part on it. But then I talked to you about it, and you said the drums are mixed back. I listened again. I listened to the original. It's primitive. It's definitely cleaner and bigger. There's more reverb on it. Am I wrong? I think the drums actually almost sound more prominent now. And I'm sure it better fucking be Ringo. Come on. That's bullshit if it's Alan White.
No, I don't think they would do that without... Think about it. The last Beatles song, the flip side of the last Beatles song, and they're not going to use Ringo. Come on, really?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But now the thing was that Ringo gave George Martin hell because you cannot tell the difference between that Alan White, not of Yes, but the Alan White, the English session drummer, and Ringo.
drummer,
You couldn't tell the difference. That whole that drop beat, boom, love me do. You know what I mean? When he hits the kick drum and the crash cymbal.
Yeah,
that's Ringo. That's a Ringoism. He did it on Good Morning too.
Yeah,
But,
I know exactly what you mean. Where he hits the kick drum and the cymbal at the same time.
Yeah, it's a drop beat like on the one.
Yeah, yep.
But I like the remix. You know, I don't. I have a hard time thinking there was any, but like you said, Steven Wilson does loving recreations and loving mixes of these artists. He doesn't fuck with them. So Giles Martin's not going to fuck with the Beatles.
No way. He's not going to create. Although I got to tell you, I am not a fan. Although I have a copy of it, of that thing called Beatles Love, where they're all mashups.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like that, man. I don't like that at all.
I'm not sure what that is. By it. It's for Cirque du Soleil. They did a Beatles thing.
Yes.
And that's why it was a mashup, because
so they'll connect Tomorrow Never Knows and then Rain and then this and that, because it happens to be in the same time for four times or whatever it may be.
It's like Beatles on 45 or something.
I am not a fan of that at all. And that was Giles Martin as well, wasn't it?
No, it was George. George did that.
That was George Martin?
Really?
Yeah, it came out a while ago.
No.
But I can understand why somebody wouldn't like it. It was just different, you know?
Yeah.
I got to say, though, with the Red and the Blue albums, I am really intrigued. So you're telling me Giles remixed every song on these albums. I am intrigued by what I'm going to hear, especially the early stuff. I can't wait to hear it.
Also, I remember having the ones where all the music's on one side and all the vocals are on the other side.
Right.
That's not true stereo. Anyone knows that, right?
Sounds like a Van Halen album. So, because the early Van Halen albums was all Alex and Eddie on one side and Michael Anthony on the other. You would only hear Eddie on one side. But I'm while you guys were talking, I pre-ordered them, the two, because I just want to hear this stuff. I mean,
you mean you ordered me a copy too? Thank you.
Sure, you got it. It's coming with hot sauce. Get it? But like Giles, when I heard the White Album, it was like a whole new listening experience for me. But he didn't change anything, so you can't pin it down exactly what he did. There's just something different, you know.
Yeah. No, as far as the mixing, are they remixes? Is he moving the instruments more toward the center? You know, on those things, there's like bass and drums on one side, the drums are on one side. You know, that's what you're talking about, right?
But I think
whereas in a mono mix, everything is all centered.
Correct. Yeah. No, this was the bullshit stereo back then.
Right.
Yeah. All the music's on left, all the vocals are on right. That's. That's if you want to learn how to play it. You pull out your one speaker and turn the balance over to the left, and you'll hear all the music.
When I was a kid, everyone that thought they were hot shit and they could play like Eddie Van Halen, you would get their Diver Down album, and you would just crank up the left speaker because that's only Michael Anthony. You can't play like Perry. So you're saying that when the Red album came out initially, it had those horrible mixes from the beginning?
Well, the one I had. I may have had a shitty Capitol Records copy of it, way
maybe
back
they
when.
did it in the U.S., but not in England. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
See, I don't know.
Maybe my speaker was broken, and it really wasn't that bad.
I was drunk at the time.
There's some restful songs when I'm playing with my headphones where I've been lonely too long is one where most of them sound present. I've been lonely too long. It must have been mixed differently where it's lower, like one thing's over here, and like it's like split down the middle. There's no middle mix there. It seems left or right extreme.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing about mixing is because I love Christine's theme, right? Graham Parsons, Flying Burrito Brothers.
Yeah,
okay.
She's a devil in disguise.
Yeah.
On the left speaker is Chris Hillman. On the right speaker is Graham Parsons.
Right, and
they're completely separated. Hard left and hard right, or the other way around. Graham's on the left and Chris Hillman's on the right. But I always thought, like, wow, why wouldn't it just be balanced? It's so hard, it's such a hard pan.
You know what it is? Some people, some engineers got carried away with the notion of stereo. Like, if I could do hard, it sounds more like stereo,
right?
And that's wrong. But that's what they thought.
Maybe it's the ego of the guitar player, like, I want me over here and him over here.
Yeah, you can imagine
you can
6
put
people
everyone
at
else
the
in the
mixing
middle.
desk.
Yeah, really. Well,
How about more me and less of
my
you?
thing is, what I do is like, this is my amateur opinion. I usually put the drums. Now I put the drums in the middle, like with the stereo pan.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear the tom toms going from right to left.
Right.
And I would like in the bass sometimes the center. Then guitars you kind of move off to the side so they have space. And sometimes to put a solo in the middle is one thing, and then you move the guitar back to So a mix is a mix in progress. Where you move the guitar around during the course of a song, depending on how many tracks
they always just say a mix is a performance too. I used to sometimes I'd put one vocal at 9 o'clock, the other vocal at 3 o'clock. All kinds of things. Yeah,
and that was the problem with quadraphonic sound. The reason it didn't take off is they were putting everything hard. Front left, hard front right, hard rear. That's why 5.1 now is so good, because they've learned, like they said, no, you have to have it go through all the speakers.
Yeah.
But it's ambience. And so like Perry, you said, maybe you put a vocal at 9 o'clock, but you have a little bit on the left, and it just gives it that ambience, which is what you want.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
That ambience.
The whole thing, it's space, because if you cram too many things of a certain frequency, like a bass and a piano too close to each other, it gets muddy. So you move them away from each other, so the frequencies have the room to breathe.
Can I just piggyback on that really quick?
You're
when
the
I
expert.
listened to this the other day for the first time, which is Dark Side of the Moon and 5.1, I was initially kind of like, everything's center. Wow, what it is unlike quadraphonic. The sound effects, yes, they would come out hard enough, but then you'd hear like David Gilmour's reverb of the guitar coming out behind you. But everything, the basic album is still front and center, which is good, and that's what makes this so good. Sorry, I had to plug the Dark Side of the Moon.
You had to, I know. Well, you know what? Why don't we go into a random relish? Why don't we do some random talking points,
Okay. Sure.
I have a couple of things I've been reading about Kenny Vaughan. You know who Kenny Vaughan is? He's a guitar player. He plays in Marty Stewart's Fabulous Superlatives. He's a guitar player, and he's has his own records and stuff. He's been around a long time. He saw the Allman Brothers way back when. He's always been an Allman Brothers fan, and he said he always he studies sound and all these things, and he noticed that. He said Greg Allman was always stage right, always positioned himself stage right with a what's the horn speaker? He had a horn speaker behind him. Leslie. He had a Leslie behind him.
Yeah.
Never used a monitor. Never used a monitor.
Really?
Yeah. But so he positioned himself away enough from the band. So of course Dickie Betts had a monitor, and I don't know if Dwayne had a monitor or the other guys had monitors, but they said he never used a monitor. He positioned himself far enough away to where it wouldn't interfere with him and his Leslie amp. Yeah.
Right up to the end, because I've seen video of them on their last time they ever played together, and he was still way off on stage right. He was still in his own realm.
No, is stage right as you're looking at the stage or you're on the stage? I think looking at the
right
stage.
if you're on the stage.
He said stage right, but you don't know. He was in the audience, so.
Oh, Greg Allman was always, if you're facing him, he was on the left. He was never different. Always on the left.
But positioned further enough away from the band so that their monitors didn't get in his way or something like that.
When you were on the stage, like as a drummer, he's on the far right.
Yeah, stage right. Stage means that you're on the stage. So stage left would be, yeah.
So Snagglepuss would say, "Exit stage left."
It's his left, but the audience is right.
And then we're on the stage. Okay. Happy anniversary.
So I have another Kenny Vaughan story. Kenny Vaughan, the guitar player.
Okay.
He did an album. He's a session guy too. He toured with Lucinda Williams. He played on Lucinda. He was Lucinda's guitar player for quite a while.
Oh wow!
Is she in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
No, she should be though.
She should.
Lucinda Williams absolutely should be.
We're going to talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the R&R HOF.
Yep.
R&R. I've got to do a bodily release before we talk about rock and roll.
So some producer engineer was making a record, right?
Yeah.
And he was putting a band together for this thing. So he had Kenny Vaughan on guitar. They had this guy Talent from Bruce's band, Bob
Gary
Talent.
Gary
Gary Talent.
Yeah.
Well, one of the bass. There were 2 bass players. The drummer was Levon Helm.
Wow.
And,
Oh.
and Kenny Vaughn says he got contact highs from Levon Helm. He smoked so
really?
much weed.
That's so cool. That's funny.
And he said this was after Levon had his operation on his throat.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
he said it was unbelievable that he loved to smoke weed.
He loved his pot.
Yeah. But he
Just
said,
like Paul McCartney.
but he said,
he got caught.
He said something interesting about how drummers have their own sound. So he says, they're doing there and they're doing a thing. And then like suddenly he steps back and he goes, holy shit, it's Levon. Because behind the kit, well, you could talk to Levon and, they're just talking about whatever,
Mm-hmm.
But behind the kit, he stepped back and he goes, it's Levon. He becomes a different person. He becomes what you know as the Levon sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said, and Kenny Vaughn said, there's very few, Mitch Mitchell may have his own sound and people like that, you know that that's them on drums. And you can always tell when it's Levon on drums.
It's a sound and it's also style. It's style.
Yeah.
A lot of drumming has to be faceless. In studios, I mean, except like Hal Blaine, I know he's drumming. He's not faceless. Mitch Mitchell,
right.
Keith
And he
Moon.
says he mentioned Kenny Vaughn mentioned Mick Fleetwood also. You can almost tell when it's Mick Fleetwood.
Okay,
yeah.
Yep.
But
So
he said those guys have a sound. Levon had a sound.
yeah. Also, then George Martin said the same thing. He goes, Ringo does the same thing where no matter what kit you put him behind, he's going to get a sound that's just pure Ringo. It's the way you hit. It's like playing a guitar too. Like some other guitar player will play my Gretsch and play it better and differently. It'll sound differently. It's just that's the thing about the artist and the instrument. It's just it's not a mechanical thing. If you're really good at what you do,
Absolutely,
or you mean what you do.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. Interesting though that and he's Kenny Vaughn. He's very well accomplished, but he was in awe of Levon. He's like, oh, it's Levon. It's he's had to step back because of everything that had been accomplished.
Yeah.
And he also said this. He said Levon always said, we should have never done a farewell show or like, going at, he said we should have never done a going out of business show.
Really, they shouldn't. Maybe they shouldn't have. I think the fact that they built that up to be the kind of thing that made them stop. Maybe if they didn't do the last waltz and Robbie didn't want to move into that world, but he did. Maybe they might have made more records.
Yeah.
No, something. No, I don't think so. You know why?
Why?
Those guys were too much to handle.
But the point is, Levon makes a good point. It's a going out of business show. Why would we do that, right?
And in his biography, when he did acted in Coal Miner's Daughter, there was a scene where when Ted Webb had died. Yeah, Levon's in the coffin, but they're doing Amazing Grace, and he's like, "No, this is all wrong." So he goes, "I get up out of the coffin, and my Gone for Good makeup." He goes, and I show them the parts to sing. They get back in the box, and he does the death scene.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, there was some buzz of a possible Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor for Levon in Coal Miner's Daughter. Oh, wouldn't that have been so cool if he'd gotten it?
Well, I'm sure there were some awards, global awards or.
Well, yeah, he might have been nominated, but that was something that was his first acting role. So for anyone, your first, he was known as a musician in musician circles and people who knew music.
Yeah,
the band weren't mainstream like that.
No, but I mean, other than the Oscars, he could have gotten a Golden Globe for playing the father in Coal Miner's Daughter.
Well, sure.
Right? I'm sure he's gotten awards for that.
He might have gotten it. Well, no, I don't think he won any awards, but the fact that his first time out of the chute, there was buzz of a possible Oscar. His name was maybe mentioned in certain circles, but being nominated for an Oscar.
Most musicians, their first acting experience, they don't do so good. He was an exception.
Yeah. And he was a natural at it. He was, just. He's a Southerner. It was real. I love that movie. What was the movie he made with Wilford Brimley? End of the Line.
I've never seen it.
Oh, that is a great. I have it on DVD. It's a great little movie. Yep.
You know something,
right
we talk
stuff.
about synchronicity a lot. Like
Yeah.
you know, like, oh, we're talking about this. I heard this.
Mhm.
I just realized synchronicity, Perry, when we used to have our laundromat conversations back
Yeah.
at Saturday morning, right?
Yep.
And you mentioned something about the band, and I didn't really listen to them. And you mentioned Levon Helm, and you went, that is Lou's favorite drummer. You told me point blank, right?
Yep.
And it made me listen to the band more, you know. But then that's when my dad called me and said, do you know Levon Helm? Like at the
Wow.
same time, like he
Yeah.
comes into the bank, you know, it's
Yeah,
like so weird that, you know, he fell into my radar. And then my
Yeah.
dad, Levon, fell into his radar, you know.
Well, I have two more random
I got it
stories.
from my sister.
Yeah.
I like the weight. That's the last waltz, and she goes, "Did you ever hear it makes no difference?" I'm like, "No." You know, so started digging in and finding, you know,
Yeah.
you know, they had
And
like five proper albums. You know, that's a big imprint.
And I did the deep dive too. And that's, yeah.
Well, I've got, you know who Otis Gibbs is. He's a guitar player, songwriter from the Midwest, lives in Indianapolis. And he was playing at a club outside of, I think it was in Indianapolis, and famous club. Lots of people have played there. And this was the final show for the club. The club was closing. So he's playing up there, and there was some talk, commotion at the front door. And they said there's like the Red Sea had parted, and walking up the aisle, Dickie Betts from the Allman Brothers, and they were in awe, like, wow. And it was like Dickie Betts. He was with his entourage, and and he went up there and he played a little bit. But for Dickie Betts, he goes, but I almost froze. He says, I became so stiff because it's Dickie Betts. But they said, like, the commotion at the front door, Red Sea parts, and up walks Dickie Betts right to the stage.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, what was this guitar player's name again?
Otis Gibbs.
Otis Gibbs.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about Otis Gibbs? What is his?
He's a guy. He's probably made about
He's a guy.
8 to 10 albums. He's a Midwestern guy from Indianapolis. Goes to Nashville to make records, and I've heard some of his songs. I like him. I think he's pretty good. Yeah. Yep.
But
I'm gonna check him
he
out.
happens to be playing somewhere, and like I said, it's like Dylan walking in and being like,
Yeah, they were closing down a club in their hometown, but it was also one of those places where anybody. Dylan probably played there. Hey, Chris, all the people that pass through play there. It's a famous club.
Yeah.
Right.
Closing down. Yep. So, and also, now, when the Rolling Stones were recording, what was the record they recorded at Muscle Shoals?
60s, right?
No,
The one with wild horses on it.
Sticky Fingers.
Sticky Fingers.
Sticky Fingers?
Stinky Fingers.
With Stinky Pete on pedal steel. Stinky Pete.
They recorded that. So
Asparagus.
Jim Dickinson, you know who he is, right? He's a producer.
Of course, Mr.
right?
Jimmy. He produced the replacements.
He did, yeah.
All shook down. No.
Yeah.
Not all shook down.
Well,
one before that.
He brought all the weed to Muscle Shoals for the Stones because they couldn't come. They couldn't fly. So he brought all the weed. Big bags. So Jim Dickinson came up with all the weed. But he said something interesting. They were there at the session, and when they were doing the sessions for Wild Horses, Ian Stewart had trouble with the piano changes. Their guy Ian Stewart.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He couldn't play the changes in Wild Horses, so he sat back. It's Jim Dickinson. Jim Dickinson was fooling around trying to on the piano off to one of the side rooms, trying to figure out the song.
Wow!
And Keith and Mick say, "Ho, keep doing that. We like it." It's Jim Dickinson playing the tack piano on Wild Horses because Ian Stewart couldn't figure out the changes or something like that. So it's
Ian Stewart, who was an original Stone going back from the early days.
Yeah, yep.
He always played with them.
Too ugly, right, to be in the band.
Yes. He was too ugly.
So, hey, play that again. We like it.
Good. Yeah. Wow. Now, Jimmy Miller also played drums on You Can't Always Get What You Want.
Yeah. Well, it's Jim Dickinson, though.
Oh, no, that's right. I'm sorry. Right,
Jim Dickinson. Yeah, Jimmy Miller was the producer, but Jim Dickinson, producer in his own right, but happened to bring them weed and, ended up playing on Wild Horses. And also, Mick Taylor plays a Nashville-tuned guitar on that song. You know what a Nashville tune guitar is?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
Interesting thing about there's a tuning called Nashville tuning, and we've all had 12-string guitars, so you know that your low E, right? There's another one, the second one that fits next to it, and it's a little thinner.
Yeah.
Same thing with the A, a little thinner. So
Octaves,
what you do is you take off those 6 thick strings, and you string your guitar up with all the thinner strings, and it makes it ring because you're using thinner strings on your the heavy strings.
Right.
They're thinner, and that's Nashville tuning. That's what it makes it sound like. It almost sounds like you're playing a 12-string guitar or something with the higher pitched strings.
So if I got a 6-string guitar, the E,
Correct.
the low E will be still E, but it'll be a thinner string.
It'll be a thinner E, a thinner A, and a thinner D. Correct.
What would you? I guess I would use like an A for the E.
Well,
a
they
D
say
for
you
the
buy a set of 12-string guitars. And take the thick ones out, and that's how you. Then you standard tuning, but that's Nashville tuning. It's got a higher pitch to it or something. Yep.
I would think, given the delicateness of those strings, that you couldn't play it too hard. I would think.
You'd be surprised, but it depends on what you're doing. If you're doing it,
the gauge
you would do that
also,
for enhancement. So Mick Taylor on Wild Horses is doing that for enhancement. He's not just strumming, all the way through the song. Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Yeah. How about this?
They like country music, the Stones.
And Sticky Fingers is my favorite.
But that's Nashville tuning. You buy a set of 12-string guitars, get rid of the heavy strings, tune up the thin ones. Yep.
Yeah.
So I was saying to Mark before, I remember a year or two ago, I don't know when it was, when what's his name smacked Chris Rock in the face.
Yeah, Will Smith.
Yeah, and I was wondering, I remember seeing it on the news or whatever. Like, wait a minute, she's not sitting next to him.
No,
he's sitting here. There's a girl next to him, and then next to her is the wife who shot him that look. And I'm thinking, why wasn't she sitting next to him? And the reason she wasn't sitting next to him is because this thing she was wearing took up like 3 seats. It's like Jabba the Hutt. It's like, who created this thing?
If David Bowie had that, on, it would be so cool.
It's like, who a 12-year-old created this ridiculous. While standing in front of a Christmas tree, I came across. What? Lou, you're right. It looks like a bunch of spinach. It's disgustingly awful. Shame on Jada Pinkett.
I want to see David Bowie in that. Oh man, that would be so cool.
Unbelievable.
It looks like about 100 pounds of sautéed spinach.
Jabba the Hutt, man.
What is that made of?
Yeah, really. Like
the fact that they've been separated for 8 years now. Like they've been so it's something where he felt that was just a debacle.
She was on NPR a couple weeks ago because she just released an autobiography, and the whole idea of the interview was just really to find out about that. So the interviewer is saying something about the award show, and she's talking all this esoteric stuff, and then the interviewer says, "But why did Will slap him?" Oh, you can't ask me that. You got to ask Will. So the whole interview was for her,
yeah.
And Will, he'll wait 20 years. He'll probably say it, and it'll be whatever. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Let's go back to the archive for another little short segment. All right.
Wait, can we wait on that till I have a pizza coming?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Pizza. I wanted pizza so bad for the last month.
I had pizza the other day.
We were going to have it the other night, and the family can't agree. Everyone disagrees. So
what do you mean? Well, you mean what the toppings are, or
it's just like the other night. So my daughter was over, and it was nice. We're hanging out. That's when my son-in-law Takena was at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremonies, and it's like, hey, I want to get pizza, and they all agreed beforehand. But then it's like, I feel like something vegetarian. I feel like this. And nothing that they wanted was at a pizzeria. So, we ended up getting Chili's. Can you believe it? Of all things, Chili's.
So they didn't want meat on the pizza. Your daughter wanted a vegetarian pizza.
I don't know. It wasn't so much that. It was just like everyone wanted such different stuff. So we ended up like Chili's was the one that had what they wanted, and I just go with them. I don't need meat on my pizza. I can have vegetables and stuff like that. It doesn't bother me.
It's a vegetable.
Vegetable. Plain pizza's fine too. Just give me a plain pizza. Red pepper flakes, though. That's a necessity.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I do, because I do sprinkle those red pepper flakes on there because it gives it some flavor.
Oh, it's nice. It's just a hint of spiciness. Hey, Perry, real quick. Have you heard the new Wilco album yet?
I have heard probably 2 songs from it.
I really like it. It's probably their best in the last 3 or 4 albums. For me. Yeah. They have a producer. They actually got an outside producer this time, so that kind of changed things up.
Did you ever see this show? It's Mike. You know who Mike Judge is, right? He created King of the Hill and Beavis and Butthead.
Mm-hmm.
He has this show. It's called Mike Judge Presents Tales from the Tour Bus. And he animates these stories, and he talks about, like, the guys with George Jones, the stories of George Jones and the guys that work with George Jones. And they're all and he animates the stories. He does the animation, and it's really good. Yeah, I'm going to get a clip for that for maybe the next show.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's called Mike Judge Tales from the Tour Bus.
I'm writing it down.
And there's like a Jerry Lee Lewis one. There's a couple of George Joneses, with the alcohol and.
Does he have a Boomhauser in there going, yep, like down up there? And
No. He's talking to real people.
Yeah,
only he doesn't film the real people. He sketches the real people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, are we here? Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Lou,
well,
where's our pizza, Lou?
I ate it.
You got to put it on ice till after the show.
It had barbecue sauce and chicken on it. I wouldn't eat that. Would never have that.
Well, how about this? How about we go to the archive for another little discussion? All right.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know who's on this one, but there's a couple of people on there. Let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Mark.
Hello, Perry.
How are you? We're just waiting for Lou. He should be logged on any second.
As usual.
Awesome. This is great. He's back.
He's back. He's back with a vengeance.
Bat out of hell 6.
Yes. Well, let's see. Hopefully he connects soon. I know he's way out. He now lives in Asheville, North Carolina.
Awesome.
And he's waiting for his Wi-Fi connection or something. So hopefully he logs on soon. But if here he is. Welcome, Lou.
Hey, there he is.
Holy shit.
Guitar sounds great through the phone.
It does.
Well, welcome back, Lou Colicchio. We've missed you, my friend.
You're my friend.
So tonight it's myself, Perry, and Lou, of course, our co-host Lou, and our friend Mark Smith, all on air tonight. And tonight we're just going to talk about random stuff, random relish.
Random relish.
Random relish.
Yeah, we're having a weird threesome tonight is what we're doing.
We're having a weird thing tonight, so we'll try not to talk over each other. But
oh boy,
so Lou, since you've been gone for so long, what do you want to talk about, my friend?
This is something I was thinking last week, and it's a subject that we haven't touched upon because I don't know if it's a certain generational thing or not. Mark and I have children. But this is a sort of a millennial thing. And something that you said, and I'll preface it with, who the hell is Billie Eilish?
Didn't I say that to Mark last week?
Yes, you did.
And where the hell is Crispin Glover? Who the hell is Billie Eilish?
Welcome to the Billie Eilish podcast. Well, it's funny. So I'm thinking about millennial music and maybe even what's the next generation under millennials? What is it? Z?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's a younger market that we probably don't really listen to too much. You guys touched upon things like Taylor.
Yeah, I know I don't listen to it that much. You know?
That was our first semi-argument on that show, I think. Was that when we were discussing, like, I like Billie Eilish.
No, I remember the following week where I listened to 5 or 6 Billie Eilish songs, and we had a discussion the following week after that about what we thought about Billie Eilish.
Right.
And, yeah.
You said she was a farce.
I said that's everything that's wrong with music is Billie Eilish. But now we talked about a lot of subjects on those old shows, right? I mean, we covered bubblegum, we covered songwriters, right?
Producers, a lot of producers.
Yeah, I love those.
We did record reviews.
Yeah,
we should do again. We should do occasional one now and then.
Monthly, maybe a monthly, because I discovered more music from you guys that I never would have.
Here's something we haven't done in a while, and this old promo that we did use. This promo was actually used. So the things we used to do, right?
Hi, my name is Perry, and I hope you can join me and my friend Lou for our next episode of Music Relish Podcast.
Right.
On this coming episode, we'll be talking about songwriters who have written songs for Glenn Campbell, The Fifth Dimension, Three Dog Night, The Carpenters, Tom Jones, Dionne Warwick, B.J. Thomas, and many more. So we hope you can join us. Music Relish Podcast with Perry and Lou. Thank you.
I had this thing I was always go Music Relish Podcast.
No, it's like this podcast. Now, were you playing the guitar while saying?
I was. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was the dulcimer.
Into the phone. Yeah.
That was the Seagull stick dulcimer.
That was the Seagull Seagull Merlin. It's called. Yeah.
Which I have putting in my thing here.
I think Lou is strapping on the Merlin.
Lou's strapping on? What? What's going on? Where's the show going?
Let's keep it out of the gutter, man. Come on, man.
Come on. You said Lou's strapping on.
I said he's strapping on a Merlin, his guitar.
Hey, you got me on the show. You got the gutter.
Yeah. Well.
This thing sounds sweet through that microphone.
Music Relish.
In my head.
The Music Relish Podcast.
That was a good interlude.
The old days.
Yeah. Yes.
And
live music.
I also have a thing where someone named Mark Smith is talking about prog rock. Prague. Yeah.
And I said music from the Czech Republic.
I'm not sure what was happening, but let's see if this comes through.
Yeah, he had to retire because of all the abuse he gave from other substances. His voice just gave out on him.
Oh, really? Wow.
So they did a journey, and they got a guy that they saw on YouTube, and he sings the stuff really good, you know?
Cool. They got some influencer to be their vocalist, you know?
Yeah, and I've seen him a couple times in the last couple of years. That guy, Rich Williams, the guy with the eye patch, he's still there. And Phil Ehart on drums, the original guys, you know, they're still playing it.
Wait, didn't one of them pass away? Was it Kerry Livgren?
No,
the guy playing the violin.
Robbie Steinhardt. He just recently passed away. Yeah.
So other than Kansas, are there any other American prog bands?
The classic ones, or you're talking?
Yeah, absolutely. When we were younger.
You know what? A lot of American bands took prog influences, but they didn't go totally there. I'm going to throw a real outfielder at you. Listen to some Styx music, Pieces of Eight, Grand Illusion.
I was going to mention that, you guys. I didn't know if it would get a giggle or what. So go ahead.
I was never a fan, but I agree. And that keyboard sound, that's another component too. It's where that music's very keyboard heavy, and just like my intro.
Well, on Pieces of Eight, there was a song before Lord of the Rings. Can't remember. It's a little instrumental by Dennis DeYoung. Sounded kind of, and it just gives a prog guy, goosebumps. So yeah.
So those old.
Yeah, you're a prog guy. That's
I admit it. I'm a nerd. And if you want to see arguing, if you want to see nasty arguing, just get in a chat room with prog fans. Holy shit!
You were saying about the last Steven Wilson record. So when you did that, that was after you subbed for me.
No, that was the first time I was on the show. Perry said we're going to do a show on prog.
I think episode 6. We were going to do prog, and we said let's get Mark in on it. Yep.
Yeah. And I was scared to death. I don't know why, but I was scared. I'm like, I can't do it. So Anthony brought up 3 Tito's and clubs because it was in the winter and I have no heat in this room. So the Tito's and clubs, actually, the ice didn't melt. It was really cool.
Wow, that's cool.
I was throwing the friend word around a lot. Right?
We go back a long way. Come on.
And I'm
you my friend.
I am your friend, Perry.
Well, you know.
That's me, man. Come on.
At least you don't do like athletes where they go, if we had hit more home runs, we would have won.
Caroline Kennedy. I am like thinking I'm running from like I'm representative. I'm from like Massachusetts.
I'm like,
I'm like.
Well, you know what? I may have.
Perry had the best one. I'm like.
but I love the fact that like sometimes when I there's the AI also that like sometimes when I translate this, you know, it has the ums and the likes.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I have a. I think I might have a video clip of Ricky Roma, Lou. I might.
Is he taking a dump?
No. He's talking about. You know what? We're not. This is a movie, so we're not trying to offend anyone with any certain beliefs. But this is
never
Ricky Roma.
Okay.
Okay. Give me this shit. I'm giving you 3 leads. 3? No, I count 2. Just 3 leads there. Patel, fuck you. Fucking Shiva handed this guy $1 million, told him sign the deal. He wouldn't sign. And the god Vishnu too into the part. Fuck you, John. You know your business, I know mine. Your business being an asshole. I find out whose fucking cousin you are. I'm gonna go to him and figure out a way to have your act. Fuck you. I'm waiting for the new leads.
Ricky Roma's waiting for the new leads.
Listen, you
what
guys,
a great character.
have you ever been in multi-level marketing or anything like that?
No.
I have.
No.
That movie gives me PTSD from that. The leads. You always want the leads. You had to fight for those leads.
Yeah. The names of people who are potentially you're going to get to buy your shit, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, fuck you.
You see this watch? This watch costs more than your car.
The good news, you're all fired. The bad news is, what is it? I got to give you another chance or whatever.
You all have 1 week to first prize a Cadillac, second prize set of steak knives.
That's
what a great movie. That was David Mamet.
David Mamet, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he directed it.
Right?
That was a David Mamet play. Yeah. I don't know if he directed it though.
It has a feel of a play. It does. It has that feel of a play.
It looks like a set.
Absolutely. The
The
bar scene is a set.
Yeah.
The office scene is a set. The rain is part of this set, right?
Even when Jack Lemmon's making calls in the rain and whatever, and he's trying to stick his foot in the door. Basically, it's just the desperation. The rapaciousness of the salesman.
I felt it. You could feel like
it's desperate.
Levine. He's Levine.
The machine.
The machine Levine.
The machine.
Jack Nicholson. Yeah.
Jack
Lemmon.
Art Levine.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and you could tell like his wife or his daughter's in the hospital, and he's behind on payments, and all the the struggle, the constant struggle of and then he finally makes the sale to Mildred and blah blah Nyborg, and they find out they just like talking to salespeople. They don't have any money.
Yeah.
It was all he thought he sold 8 units, and he didn't sell 8 units.
Yeah,
and I think he was one of the guys that robbed the place for the new leads, right?
I don't recall. It was Ed Harris.
But
Right.
I think, Ed Harris and Alan Arkin talked about it, but it was really Jack Lemmon who stole the leads.
Wait, let's not
What
ruin
was
it
it?
for anybody who hasn't seen the movie yet.
Fuck 'em.
Because there's a whole generation of people that have not seen the movie, and we want them to see
Well,
it.
this is a spoiler alert episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you know what?
Yeah.
Jack Lemmon had this great way. He could play a killer and make you feel sorry for him. Didn't he have a great way of just making you feel for him? You know?
Yeah.
Man.
I felt bad for him. Except that in the Odd Couple, he was a little too, Tony Reynolds had aspects of that, but his character in the Odd Couple was almost a little too neurotic, a little too edgy, a little too twitchy.
But that was another Broadway show, by the way, too.
Yeah, that's right.
Neil Simon.
Who was the first? I believe who was the first Felix?
Art Carney.
You are correct.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Or as Jackie Gleason would say, Art Carney.
No, pal. Stop fucking. I know that you.
It is a family show. I didn't
know,
bring
off your boat. Stop fucking.
I don't know.
Happy
That must
anniversary.
be
Got any
beard.
random subjects you want to talk about?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Yeah, I do. It's some Beatle trivia.
Ooh.
So, in listening to now and then the new and last Beatles song,
I love Tweedledivia.
my dyslexic dubby.
Stop drinking that beer, guys. You're getting off the rails.
I was thinking John Lennon wrote some dark lyrics in his time.
Yes.
We talked about this. So just in Beatle mode, and there's a song I thought John wrote, but he didn't. I thought he had something to do with the lyrics, but he didn't. There's a player on that song that I thought did some interesting stuff. But anyway, if you look at some of John's lyrics, darker lyrics like "Run for Your Life."
Yeah,
I mean
that we talked about at Halloween show. Yeah,
yeah,
we
did,
see
like,
you dead than to
I'd
be
rather
with
see
another
you
man.
dead.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a song called from the Hard Day's Night soundtrack called "When I Get Home."
Yeah, that's a dark song.
What's that?
Yeah. Is that a dark song?
If you listen to the lyrics, he's cheating on somebody, and he's claiming he can't be with her, but he's going to come back.
Oh, okay.
It's very deceptive. It's along the lines of some kind of like. It's also the fact that the Beatles were squeaky clean, right? But on the song, they're really not. He's not. But it's got that exuberant chorus that makes it sound like it's like Beatlemania and happy.
He was the first one to leave the fluffiness of right.
And then Norwegian Wood at the end, he burns down the girl's house.
Really, I never got that. I never really listened.
So I lit a fire. Isn't it good, Norwegian Wood? He lit a match. He busted the joint out.
Okay.
I am the Walrus.
Fire in a fireplace. I didn't know.
No,
Listen, here's a verse from.
I think the illusion was that he burned down the house.
Well, from when I get home, when I'm getting home tonight, I'm going to hold her tight. I'm going to love her till the cows come home. I bet I'll love her more till I walk out that door again.
Wow, and that was what 1964 or 5?
Yeah, it's gonna.
Wow,
I got no business.
Go,
being
Johnny,
with
go
you tonight. Yep.
Yeah, go, Johnny, go. Rock
but
and roll.
in the song, he has conflict about it because he's going to go home and tell his girl that he's supposed to be with, but he's going to go back. So even I Am the Walrus, some of the lyrics, dripping from a dead dog's eye. Hey, there's definitely that darker side that
was the psychedelia thing.
Yeah, but when Beatlemania was wearing off, and the parents were like, Beatle John is not writing these weird lyrics on the Walrus.
Yeah, Beatle John's not writing "Love Me Do" or
he was writing about you let your knickers down.
Yes, right.
A Day in the Life, same thing. They blew his mind out in the car. So
So
when I was thinking about the White Album, I thought that "Don't Pass Me By" might have been a co-write, but it's a Richard Starkey song. But there's a lyric, and you were in a car crash and you lost your head.
Yeah.
They thought that might have been a reference to Jane Mansfield.
Yeah.
But there's
George always helped Ringo with the arrangements,
sure.
little things like that. Yeah.
Right. And I think I'm sure the whole band pitched in on this. But there's a fiddle on it. So on the White Album, there weren't many auxiliary musicians. So where Clapton is the uncredited guitar player on While My Guitar Gently Weeps, the guy that played fiddle is a guy named Jack Fallon. He was a bass player. Played with a whole shit ton of people. He played with Django Reinhardt. Now,
Wow.
I mean, gypsy jazz, for a while was all the rage here in Nashville. Doesn't seem to be now. But he was this guy that had this great session career. He played with Count Basie from Red Bank, New Jersey, where I was born. He played with Hoagie Carmichael. Big Bill Brunzi. I've heard that name. I've heard his songs. I don't know if it's like Key to the Highway was him or something like that, or like a signature tune. But he was a blues guy.
He had a couple big songs that were covered by British artists that made him big.
Right.
Yeah. Like Spoonful, Willie Dixon. Yeah.
Okay. So Jack Fallon also had a promoting agency called Cana Variety that had booked the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. So one thing led to another. So he was known in the circle. So when the time came when they needed a fiddle player, they called this guy Jack Fallon. And interesting because there's not many other people known for playing on the White Album, but he was one besides Leangelo Mysterioso.
Yeah.
No, Leangelo. That was George.
Of course, Chris Thomas playing keyboards.
Wait, what was Clapton's nom de plume?
Oh,
on
yeah,
Badge.
Leangelo Mysterioso was George Harrison on Badge.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a listing of anybody.
I don't think there was one. No. Well, he was uncredited, so there wouldn't be.
Le Cigarette Smoker. I don't know.
Harry Jorgensen.
Right?
Yeah, Harry Jorgensen.
Yeah. That's funny stuff. Checking into a hotel as Leo Kennedy just for goofs.
You know what's weird about the White Album?
Clown.
I love the songs on it, but I have trouble listening to it in its whole. I have trouble with the pacing. I don't know. I hear songs often on the radio, and I love every song. But then when I hear it the way it's, I have trouble with the way
it's the sequencing. Then you have an issue.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why. So because it opens up great back in the USSR,
right? Of course, the jet fading out, and then Dear Prudence comes in, right?
That's great. And then after that, for me, it's hard. It's personal, It's like, but if I hear it, I love the album. So maybe I should just shuffle it.
Think about the difficulty of sequencing a 2-record set, right? And then, of course, you have number 9, number 9, number
How many
9.
songs could have replaced that? How many? Could have had 3 George Harrison songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, that's a John Lennon song, Lou.
Yeah, that's
Good
right.
Night. Yeah. Yep.
A lot of people thought it was Paul because it was so melodic and very melancholy.
Yeah. Very.
John said he was trying to write like a Disney song, like something Jiminy Cricket would sing.
I always said I always heard Jiminy Cricket singing that song. Yeah.
You Jiminy Cricket, little pest bastard.
Who are you to talk to me like that? You little Jiminy Cricket pest bastard. And how do you spell bastard? B-A-S-T-I-D. Bastard.
Bastard.
That was my father. That bastard.
And if you're in England, you're fucking bastard. No, if you're in England, it's fucking bastard.
On Milk Crits and Turntables, we're doing 1965. Yeah. And Scott McLean brought up the name Ed Chalpin in relation to Jimi Hendrix. And Mark said this. Mark said, "Goes, Lou, you stiffened up." I heard that name, And
Lou got very erect.
I got extremely erect. I'm taller laying down.
I've heard that name too. Yep.
But this is an incredibly personal story. Another attachment Lou has to music.
Whereas Ed Chalpin got Jimi Hendrix to sign a $1.65 contract or whatever to get a piece of his ass until whenever, whatever album he made. In perpetuity. Exactly, Perry. And until the family finally got, and justifiably got, control of. Now they fought within themselves, of course, because that's what families do. But at least they yanked it away from the people that had nothing to do with it, as far as blood and anything else. But so I'm sorry, to the relatives of the deceased. I'm not talking about Jimi Hendrix, but the other fella. Hey, what is? He did it. It wasn't right. You got what you got. It's over.
He doed it. I doed it. Yeah.
He doed it. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Well, I was telling a story when he gave me and my brothers, Philocinium, some studio time, free studio time on my birthday, which is August 19th. So New York on August 19th was 150 degrees. It was disgusting out. We got a studio. He gave us free studio time, turned off the air conditioning. But before we went over there, my father goes, "Don't sign anything he puts in front of you. Don't even put an X in front of it." because apparently Hendrix signed with an X. The legend has it that he didn't even sign his name.
I don't believe that.
I
That was in
don't
the
either.
Air Force. Come on, he knows how to sign his name.
course,
you know?
of
No,
course.
he might have done it on purpose, not like I can't
It's
sign my name. He
like
just
good
might-
as his fucking. My reasoning. What was he promised in order to like sign something like that? Especially at that point, 65. He was not an unknown. He knew he was on the cusp of
if you
something.
sign
There was
this, I'll get
interest.
you an electric guitar and an amplifier.
Or like maybe more than that. You know, I think it was more than Moon and the Stars, or maybe this gentleman with the initials EC knew Eddie Kramer, or knew someone had ties to the hit
Terry
factory,
Knight.
or some other reputable rock and roll.
Well, Lou, I
management
said to you on the
shark.
show, I did
What's that?
say to you that right now, I said to you after knowing you recorded in Kazakhstan right
Yeah.
now, there could
I
be
know.
the best of Philocinium albums being sold.
Exactly.
You don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? It could be
No.
in a movie. They could.
What we
We're
did,
big in Tajikistan. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I seen people like wave to me some places like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Maybe Borat has the record.
I love the music of the Lou Colicchio, the Lou.
I believe we have some Northern African or like that part of our DNA is from the Middle East somewhere. You never know.
Moorish.
I think it's more North. I think it's Libya, more North Africa. Anyway, but the thing is, we recorded a song called "Kill the Lights." It was a Anthony Colicchio and Lou Colicchio composition.
Wow.
Mark, it was proggy as
I've heard
fucking
it.
hell.
I've heard it. Yeah.
I want to hear it.
I somewhere there is a copy. I might have something on cassette somewhere. It would take some digging. It was a very complicated arrangement, but it was young songwriters, young people trying to they're doing something kind of interesting and proggy. So, but I thought we did get the master tape, so I don't think he has something. He wasn't bugging the room.
It would take some technology though to get that onto a format to where people can hear it.
It would take some AI voice restoration.
Maybe.
No.
Hey, anyone can download. By the way, anyone can download an AI program if you're willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Anyone can do that, and then you can separate tracks like that. I saw this jerk on the internet. He's very famous, white-haired guy. Mark, you know who he is. I won't say his name because I can't stand him. Yeah.
Initials RB.
Yeah, but he has a
he
has a program that he does that where he was actually playing and now and then and his AI separated the vocal, it separated the one track to two tracks, vocal, piano. And then you could mix from that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, so I have Steve Wilson. Hey, Steve, I need you to remix Lou. Yeah, you know Lou. Done deal. He's going to do a box set, 45 tracks. You better have
Philocinium.
Yeah, you guys could not afford Steve Wilson, by the way. Just a little heads up.
Are you kidding me?
Well, you know what?
Me?
The artists don't pay Steve Wilson. The record labels pay Steve Wilson.
Yeah.
That's the whole key.
Yep.
And they also take their cut before the band gets theirs.
Yeah. I have a trivia
That's
question.
the way the business works.
I have a trivia question.
What's that?
Okay.
Non-music related. I don't know how I came up
American
with this.
history?
Probably talking about Tom Petty or reading something about Tom Petty or whatever. Anyway, here's the trivia question. Non-music related trivia question. What is the northernmost location where you can find an American alligator in the wild? The northernmost location you can find an American alligator in the wild.
Missouri.
Georgia. Don't say Idaho.
No, you'd have to have like fresh water.
Wait, no, we're talking non-zoo, nothing zoo.
Non-zoo, in the wild, the northernmost location you would find an American alligator.
Alligator.
In the wild. Yeah.
Not a crocodile, an alligator. Do alligators
There are
need
no crocodiles in the U.S., except in zoos,
Really?
I'm sticking with Missouri.
North Carolina. Coastal
Get
North
the-
Carolina.
Really?
Wow.
Cape Hatteras type area. You can
No
find
kidding.
American alligators. Yep.
Cape
It's that
Fear.
far north. Yeah.
Not cool.
Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, anywhere like swampy.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep, Florida, as far north as coastal North Carolina. Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
Hey, listen.
Interesting.
I got something random.
That
For
was
you.
not music related. I don't know why I threw that in there.
Before that, I've seen some roadkill armadillo in North Carolina.
Oh,
They're making their way up.
Yeah, when I went to Texas to see my sister when I was a teenager, she lives in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I just want to see an armadillo. Why? Because of Tarkus, right? Tarkus. I always said, I want to see an armadillo.
Took us.
So all we saw the whole time was roadkill armadillo on the side of the road. And it's like blood coming out of the crack in the shell. Yeah.
It's also like parts of Georgia, actually, leaving Florida and going to Georgia. Yep. Oh, yeah, I think we saw many an armadillo roadkill in like 1989 driving down to Miami.
Yeah.
Armadillo flavored road pizza.
Visiting you one time in North Carolina. I don't know if I was with Mark or my nephew, but I think we were on our way to Marshall. There was a dead coyote in the road. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful creatures.
Yeah. But yeah. I have one more thing. I don't know how to explain this. You know what? I'll just play it and then we'll talk about it. Okay? No, let's
like
just
Bigfoot.
This is somebody guesting on the Dolly Parton show. I guess Dolly Parton at one point had one of those summer shows like many people did. Right?
Summer replacement variety show.
Correct.
Like Jim Stafford.
So, correct. So let's
Pink
see this
Lady
one.
and
Let's
Jeff.
see.
Did you ever wonder
Karen Black.
why the people who need love the
Oh boy.
most turn away from love? Did you ever wonder
It's a folk song.
why
Yeah.
the people
It's a folk song.
who need love the most turn away? By day he worked the farm, down the road a piece or two.
She's a pretty good singer.
Yes.
Played harmonica for
Good songwriter.
He'd lean back in his chair till he merely fell down.
Played harmonica for me. There it goes.
Smile just to see. And I always wondered why he never asked me.
Yeah.
Though we talked,
To me, it's a folk song.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is that Mickey Raphael on harmonica?
No, I don't think that's Willie Nelson's guy.
Also played on a Blue Oyster Cult song.
I don't know about that.
No, he did.
But Karen Black, yes. Yeah. And you know, actor, singer, musician, right? All that stuff. Yeah.
A very interesting person. I saw I heard a thing on her on NPR a couple months ago where they mentioned she did music for a movie. This might have been one of the songs from it.
She's still alive?
No, she passed away.
Oh, bummer. Yeah.
I also thought she did a lot of stuff in the 70s. Trilogy of Terror. Remember that, Mark?
So
yes.
I don't know when that was.
Her squatting on the ground with a knife and those teeth, I fell in love with her.
Yeah. I always thought she was very very attractive, very interesting person too. Like as an actress, she did a lot of offbeat stuff, a lot of mainstream semi-offbeat stuff. But the fact that she's also a singer-songwriter
but the fact that she was guesting on a country show, it's pretty much a folk song. There was some pedal steel guitar in there, but it's a folk song, really.
Yeah.
You could hear Judy Collins sing that song.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right?
Karen Black.
Karen Black. Yep.
She was kind of like an alternative actress. Yeah, she did. A lot of her stuff wasn't so much typical. She did a lot of offbeat roles. Very interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Trilogy of Terror scared the shit out of me too as a kid.
Same here.
Yeah.
But now you laugh when you watch the little
voodoo doll. It's
now they're silly, right?
What's amazing about that movie is it was made for TV. That was amazing that it got through the censors.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And same with the Night Stalker and the Night Strangler. Those movies got made for TV and they made it.
I was about to say the original Night Stalker. That's a scary movie. I'm gonna get a copy of that. I would love to see that again.
Well, if you
I watched it about 10 years ago.
if you can get Sven Gulli wherever you find it, I watch it every Saturday. He shows these movies, Sven Gulli. I love it. And what he does is he does a deep dive. He'll go into what actors played in other movies, and it's really neat.
Yeah.
Like what we do with musicians, he does it with actors.
Yeah, I've seen
So anyway.
Sven Gulli on somewhere on YouTube.
He's on MeTV. We have
So,
to get it on your digital antenna, though.
In Norway, is it Sven Gulli?
No, it's Sven Gulli.
Oh,
yeah.
Schmorgy.
I got a little random thing for you guys.
What have you got?
Well, sometimes you follow these legendary musicians on Facebook and you get sucked into their personal lives for good or for bad.
I don't do that, but some people do. Yeah.
No. This art guy, Lee Sklar, I follow him. He's a great. Wait, first of all, you see more middle fingers on his Facebook page, but
Yeah. Well, he's got a coffee book table about middle fingers, right?
Yeah. So, back in October,
I have one about dog poop. Is that okay?
No, you have one about taking a dump. I got some good news today because of all his rants, and he rants. He's like the rant guy, but he was in Spain with his wife back in October, and she was swinging from a swing in the back of the house they rented, and the swing broke, and she fractured 3 vertebrae. She was in bad shape. So she had surgery in Spain, then they came back here. She's been going through surgery. When it happened, they said, she may not walk again, whatever. Well, a couple of days ago, he put a video of his wife, Maureen, taking her first steps with a cane, and she looked good. But it's good to hear. He loves his wife. And, just all the more power to Lee Sklar that, this guy's touring. He still tours. He's still a working musician. He just did a major tour with the country singer. What's his name? The guy that... I can't remember.
Lyle Lovett. He does. I did see his video too about how he was saying about how his wife got hurt, and he said she was really hurt. He knew it right away. Yeah.
Can you imagine the pain? But so today he put up this video of her walking, and she was going up steps. That's a big deal to go up and down steps. So good. Congratulations to Lee. His wife is getting better because they're not spring chickens,
How about this? This is for Lee.
Okay.
He probably said, "I love you, baby."
And also, the best wishes to his wife.
Yeah.
It gets to a point of life, it's like a fall can do a lot more things. I'm getting old drummer shoulders, I think.
Well, his wife is getting better all the time.
Yeah.
She's getting better.
I think if I fell off the swing, I'd probably be in bad shape right now.
Yep.
Boom, boom, boom. Oh, I heard a Beatles side, the best bass playing in all of rock and roll, Paul McCartney on Hey Bulldog. After I heard the Beatles Now and Then video, Hey Bulldog, it's a whole video of them doing Hey Bulldog. And
wow.
The bass playing, unbelievable.
Yeah. John came up with the riff on piano, though. That's John's riff on piano.
It's such a great riff. The guitars are great. The drums are great. The bass playing is unfucking believable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's like, I always thought like a Queen song, Death on Two Legs. Brian May says Freddie came up with that riff on the piano. Yeah. That's a Freddie Mercury riff. Yeah. Wow. It sounds cool on guitar, but it's Freddie's riff. Yeah.
Interesting. Cool.
Yeah.
You know what my favorite Paul McCartney bass line is?
What?
Silly Love Songs.
I knew you were going to say that.
Kind of a
give me a bouncy C, by the way.
It's a faux disco thing,
Give me a bouncy C. Bum, 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 bum.
Perry, you got it. You knew I was going to say that.
I knew it. I knew where you were going. Yep.
Somebody sent a video of I don't know if one of you guys are Top Mitter. It's the bass line from "You Should Be Dancing" by Morris Gibb.
Yeah.
Oh,
and they isolated it. It is so damn funky.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's rhythmic, syncopated, and funky.
I've heard it. Yeah, you can find those isolated tracks out there. They're out there. I find them every now and again for a little quiz, right?
And it shows how Mark and I really suck at it.
Well, I can understand.
Mark, I spoke for you. If it's okay,
but I can understand when you hear the Highway Star. I would understand how you could think it was Lemmy.
Yeah.
Ace of Spades.
Yeah. But who are you? I mean, come on. I thought you guys would nail who are you, you know?
Terrible.
Yeah.
Suck.
Well,
Just
you know what it
terrible.
is?
Just terrible.
It's partly because
Despicable.
Lou's having 10% alcohol, some kind of beer from North Carolina. I'm having wine. So come on.
That has
Well,
nothing
like I
to
said,
do with it.
I'm drinking
Nothing,
Zima. May the Music Relish podcast last another year.
Yes. 2 years, guys. It has been a blast. It's been fun.
It has been tumultuous.
It's been tumultuous at times. We took a 2-month hiatus. That's how tumultuous it was.
One of us has become an asshole. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's me.
Look, you know what's great about that 2 months? The fact that all of us could relax while our managers hashed it out. That was amazing, wasn't it? Like, right, Lou, your manager was on the phone.
you say-
Terry, the mine.
My manager is Irving Azoff. How about you guys?
I'm like Bill Murray. I have no manager, no accountant, no nothing.
No cell phone.
I have a flip phone.
No
A
social media at
Nokia.
all.
It costs $9 a month.
Good for you. You're a smart man.
Yeah, but it's not the dumb phone that's creating memories for me. You know, like
Oh man.
creating picture. You know, creating a screen. You know, these pictures and creating music for it. Like, dude, don't do that, man. Don't create
Yeah.
memories for me.
Yeah.
Don't do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yep. But anyway, let me read this stuff here. All right.
Memories.
If anyone wants to, if anyone likes the Music Relish Show, we can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Pocket Cast. Now, Pocket Cast is the one where you can go all the way to episode 1 from 2021. That's the Pocket Cast.
Oh,
one.
that's the one. Oh,
Yeah.
So for
Yeah.
people, if
So-
you want to hear us on telephones, that's the way
you
to go.
can you can you can get that on your phone and then put it onto a CD from your phone with a cable.
We
You
can
know?
hear Lou have a meltdown
Yeah.
over his phone not working. That was a great one.
Amazon
few
Music, Amazon Alexa, Overcast, Podchaser, Podcast Addict, Odyssey, YouTube, and Facebook.
When
And,
Mark does it.
And yeah, that's the Music Relish Show.
Hey, listen. Give me 1 minute here. Just want to
Yeah.
say really quick, because I know Lou was going to talk about next week. We can expand on it because this was our anniversary show. But Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inducted Kate Bush, Sheryl Crow,
Yes.
Yeah.
Missy Elliott, George Michael, Willie Nelson, Rage Against the Machine, The Spinners, DJ Kool Herc, Link Ray, Chaka Khan,
Chaka Khan.
Al Cooper, Bernie Taupin, Don Cornelius.
Yeah.
My son-in-law was at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremony. He was in Brooklyn at it. Maybe at the very least, I want to talk to him, but maybe we can get him on the show. Let's try.
Do it.
Yeah. Yep.
Because he did text me when he said, "Holy shit, Jimmy Page is on stage!" Like they were all like amazed, you know.
So Lou, you had said you had seen a couple of clips of this show. You have the streaming service that
No.
No?
At this point, it's on YouTube. There are home video. There are camera videos. In
cell
about a
phone
month,
videos.
Yeah, in about a month it'll be on Disney Plus. But I did see some stuff that was kind of interesting, but just a few thoughts on it, and mostly nice stuff. Some of the introductions, some of the inductions, and how they were done. I watched a few select clips, and some people, like you said, we all have opinions on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and who should be in, who's not in. Did this person get in? If this person got in, why didn't that person get in 10 years ago, et cetera? It's
right. Why does Link Ray have to go in posthumously? Why couldn't it be done 10 years ago? Right. Or,
And how about Steve Miller sticking his foot up the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's ass a couple of years ago?
Well, apparently Bernie Taupin did too.
Now that's funny because I saw Elton's introduction to Bernie Taupin, but they didn't have a clip of Bernie Taupin's clip that his speech that I saw. I will look again. So maybe
I read it. I
next
didn't
week.
see it. Yeah.
Okay, it's probably not available now. Well, I saw what I could, but how about the Beatles now and then? I give it a thumbs up.
Me too. And now the video and the song. I'm
just
amazed by it. Yeah.
Just the fact that vocal hook is in your head,
Yes.
Yes,
Right.
it is. Yeah.
And the whole melody,
Yeah.
which is
And
a
it
tribute.
came naturally to John Lennon, by the way.
Of course,
It
absolutely.
just came naturally to him. Yeah.
It's a friggin' demo. It's a demo that some of the greatest musicians of rock and roll of all time decided to put something on. And Ringo is the greatest.
But they know to
Always
lay
will be.
back and not step on anyone's toes.
Yeah.
You know? Like
Yep.
Keith Moon is a toe stepper of a drummer.
Absolutely.
You know, when you think of who are you? You know, I woke up in the Soho, and when Pete's doing his guitar riff, Keith has to step on his toes with a bump.
He does do it, but he was the greatest one-trick pony of all time.
Yeah,
Greatest.
he was.
But
He was.
Mitch Mitchell was not unlike that, but Mitch Mitchell was more disciplined.
Yeah.
And could work his way around it. Like I heard Fire recently. My friend Steve sent me a clip of all Mitch Mitchell's drum tracks. I mean, the guy was great. On Fire, the drums are better than the guitar playing on Fire, as far as I'm concerned.
But I've seen Pete Townsend interviewed, and you know he says Keith never did anything but you know, it's like
of course
that was his thing. That was his one trick. Yep.
Yeah, and Russell said he could be a nightmare to play with because you never knew when Mooney would go on a tangent. But now, in contrast, Kenny Jones would know a tangent if it came up and humped him on the leg.
Well, you know what? Let me.
Mooney was Mooney, and Mooney made the Who. He was part of what made the Who what the Who were.
Well, let me hold up my Zima for the 2-year for the 2-year anniversary
nice.
Of the Music Relish Perdcast.
Hey, I'm late to the party. Here you go, guys. Cheers, Perry. Cheers, Lou.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah. Yep.
Cheers, Roebuck.
Thanks for
Yep.
stimulating music. I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
Hanging with you guys.
So, I'm so sad now. Bringing me down, man. It's like, and now and then we used to have a show. Good night from the Music Relish Show. Good night, good night, good night. I have a closing theme, but I think there might be some from the archives connected to it, Lou. So let's just give it a play. All right, here we go.
Sure.
Well, we've reached the end of another episode, so we hope you can join us next time for the Music Relish Podcast with Perry and Lou. Okay? Thank you. See you next time. Goodbye.
Episode 50, 2-year anniversary.
Oh, yeah. It's a Music Relish Podcast. It's a Music Relish Show. With Lou and Mark.
With Mark and Lou and Perry.
And Pirog.
North Carolina, New York, and New Jersey.
Asheville Skyline. Asheville Skyline.
Buddy.
It's the Asheville Skyline. It's the Asheville Skyline. It's the Asheville Skyline. You know, it's the Asheville Skyline. And there it is, the people who played the song Asheville Skyline.
I like bubblegum pop. Bubblegum pop is really good. It's really good. It's a genre. It's about like music. It's about really people.
There's Mark with his little triplet pull-offs. Yeah.
Which guitar is Mark playing? I can't see it.
He's playing the good one. He's playing the one that's in tune.
Guitar that Perry brought down.
Oh, it's your
Played
Martin.
by Mark, Lou, and Perry. It's a Relish Show. Good night from the Music Relish. Good night from the Music Relish Show. Good night. It's the Music Relish Show. Goodbye from the Music Relish Show.
Hope you enjoyed the show. 2 years.
Pirog.
2 tumultuous, neurosis-ridden years of preposterous podcasting pleasure, perpetuated by a pack of pusillanimous pipsqueaks named Lou, Mark, and Perry. Tumultuous.
Mark, that better be an original song because no music has been cleared. Do not play a cover. Do not play Supertramp.
Oh, Jesus.
Nope, I'm playing my song. It's
Good.
called Cup of Tea.
Let's hear it. I want to hear an original
Cup of
song.
tea.
Play it. Do it. Do
I'm
it.
playing a. Come on.
Now,
I will not divulge my music for the masses until it's recorded and copyrighted.
Come on, play it. Darn it, play it. You were just doing
remember.
it.
I got to get my phone out.
What do you mean you don't remember? You were just fucking playing it.
It's
He's
called
doing
musical
that
ADD or OC.
Oh boy, it's called Red Light Fever.
I
I know
played
you're
you
still
guys.
recording.
Yeah.
I played the dulcimer. You play your guitar, Mark. Come on.
Hey,
Come on.
listen, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not falling like Lou fell for it last week when he thought you stopped recording.
Do 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 do
As your
do
disease
do.
ridden.
It's the Music Relish. It's like, yeah, and you know, it's the Music Relish podcast.
Hello.
This is
Hello?
a 357 Magnum.
I can't hear you, Lou.
Lou, are you there, Lou? Lou, you there? Are you my friend, Lou?
I'm out in my front yard, guys. I'm in my front yard.
You're my friend.
Mark, you're too loud. Check it out. The one clip you showed how loud Mark really was.
Yes, I know.
Mark, that was your proof. That was.
Yeah, because
I had my phone out. You
yeah,
were
because
you were
he
like
has-
the next.
Mark has a Google phone.
No. I have a Galaxy. It's a Galaxy.
It's Google technology,
No,
brah.
it's Galaxy. Come on,
It's
get
Google.
it right.
It's not
present.
Galaxy technology. It's Google technology. Android is Google technology.
When you guys got on my case about it, I was like the sweaty balls guy. I was like, "Hi, I'm Mark Smith."
All right,
I was like trying to talk.
All right, here we go. All right,
Sweaty.
guys.
Hi. What?
Zima.
What? Hello.
I'm drinking Zima. Good night.
Hello.
Is it really?
Hello. I can't hear anybody. Hello.
How come?
I think they just continued Zima, didn't they?
What are you drinking?
Oh.
It looks like a beer.
It's Miller High Life, brah.
You
When
are.
I hear
I
Zima,
like the shirt, man.
Miller High Life.
when I
It's a
hear
$6
Zima, I
Champagne
think
and
of,
beers. Come on.
when you say Zima, I remember club music. That was like a club drink, right?
Yeah.
There was a movie. You ever seen that movie called The Drop? Where the guy walks in and goes, "You got any Zima?"
No.
No.
Well, guys, see you next time, okay?
All right.
Good night.
Good
2
night.
years.
2 years.
2 years.
It was fun.
2 years with
The
my
first year was great.
I can't-
Now we
I
got the
can't
2
control
years.
my
2
thing.
years with my brothers. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.